Well, we're here at the CCA workbench,
Yes, sir.
Dave, and you know, I looked down at your list.
I've got
and
a
you've
long
got
list.
a dozen or so
Yep,
points to make. So let's just roll right into it.
Well, we're going to start
bud.
off, you know, like I said before, when I'm fishing offshore here at home, I'm trying to catch a wahoo because he's the king. You know, we have dolphin and wahoo and tunas and some billfish, but hardly any billfish up where I live. So we're usually fishing for dolphin and wahoo is the king. So all the stuff that I do is to be able to catch both of those at the same time. Okay. And so we're going to go about, you know, when you're targeting wahoo, you got to realize he's fast. And he wants things that are fast and shiny, and you know he's perfect for that. He's built like an arrow for speed. He's a mackerel, and all mackerel fishes have teeth, and their main way to hunt is to come in really fast and take the tails off bait. So when we're king mackerel fishing or Spanish mackerel fishing or wahoo fishing, we have to use wire to keep from those very sharp teeth. A wahoo's teeth are probably some of the sharpest natural things I've ever come across. I mean, that's because they actually swim through a bait. When they're wanting to eat it, they just swim right through it and take the tail off. And sometimes when we're trolling, they'll come up from underneath a bait and they'll skyrocket on the bait. So we'll see them 10, 15 feet out of the water with a plug in their mouth or a ballyhoo that's half a ballyhoo, because usually the other half is still down there. And and a lot of times what's really amazing with these fish, how sharp and fast they are, you could be trolling a ballyhoo on the surface and a wahoo will come and skyrocket on your bait, and the bait won't come out of the clip, won't move, and you reel your bait in, you got half a bait. I mean, that's how sharp their teeth are.
That's real.
They won't come out. So we're going to go down to talk about the little wire. You have to use wire. I got number 9 single strand wire. Here, use one of these. This is number 9 single strand wire. It breaks at like 100 pounds. It'll probably catch most of the wahoos that you will encounter. If you're fishing someplace where you're going to see 80 or 100 pound wahoos, you might go up to 10 or 12 pound wire, or number 9 or number 12, because it'll go on up. Also, you notice on this rig, I've got a long shank hook on here.
Right.
And what that does is it gets that hook further back in the bait. If they're still taking your tails off, you use the stinger.
Add the stinger
and that's the stinger rig, and that's use the same kind of wire that you make your leader out of, and you make it 2 or 3 inches, sticking past out, and put it in the tail of the bait. So the tail, or you can even let it hang as long as it's real close to the tail of the bait.
Right.
And the fish comes up and he goes to take that tail, he gets a big chunk of that too. Using like a real Super X strong VMC number 3 double X.
Right.
Round eye is really good. The wahoo are going to be around structure, so you're going to want to look for places like reefs, wrecks, any kind of ledge, a good drop off. Any of those type of structures is what you're going to want to do, and you want to have current. A big piece of structure with no current isn't really doing you any good. If you're marking bait and you have a good current ripping across it, keep coming across that structure at different angles until you get a bite. If they like it coming straight with the current, then you just turn around and you keep doing that over and over again. Sometimes they like it coming the other way. Sometimes they like it cross current. But whenever you start going across that chunk of structure, whatever it is, if you keep getting bites going one way, obviously you just keep going and hitting that same strut.
Same presentation.
Wahoo like flashy stuff. A lot of the stuff you see here is purple and pink, and it's got a lot of mylars on it. They like things that are shiny. They're in a big, deep blue all of the time. So the stuff they're targeting is very bluish. So you want to try to get something that's going to catch their eye. They eat a lot of blue runners. They eat a lot of little tuna fishes. So if you can match that sort of look, a lot of blacks and purples with mylar as well. You want to have that shiny stuff as well. But by the same token, a lot of times you can't get them to bite that dark stuff, and they like gaudy stuff, oranges, yellows, pinks with the mylar, all that kind of stuff, foils, anything that gives that flash. And what that does is it's telling that wahoo that there's some bait that's flashing, and that's what we want him to think. A lot of stuff they'll pull nowadays will even have a spinner on it. When you go long range fishing and stuff, they'll have a big blade on the back of it to make it spin. Now, if you're not getting bit the plugs you're coming over that thing, if you have some live baits on board, that's really great. Blue runners again, bridled up with a circle hook and a big wire leader. Use trolling sinkers if you're going to want to go fast, you know, and keep stuff down low, like Pat was saying. They like stuff that's not always on the surface. They like it 2 or 3 feet under the water. And if you're going 15 knots, you're going to have to use a trolling sinker to keep your baits and or your lures down there deep. Otherwise, they'll want to come up, especially stuff like this. It'll turn into a boat. Gaffing. When you gaff these fish, when we catch them, be very careful because of those teeth. Hit them in the head. That avoids, you know, putting a gaff in the back of the fish in the meat. Also, when you pull him in, his head is up. If you gaff him in the tail and he comes into the boat with his head pointing down and he falls off, he can really injure you. So hit him in the head.
Good tips.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bree?
I've never heard you so quiet, Rick. Dave, those are some great Wahoo words of wisdom.
He put a Wahoo muzzle on me.
Yes, he did.